Today we're going to learn a new strategy using the number line. Today our strategy, our anchor chart poster, which we would be making in class, let me move it a little closer, is number line Niles. I like to start with the biggest number in the equation. Then I make jumps of hundreds, tens, and ones. So this is just another strategy we're going to be learning about to add 3-digit numbers together. Before we begin, I want you to have all your materials ready. So you will need to have this poster from the packet if you would like it next to you as a visual reference. You will need page 50 in the packet. Looks like this. Page 50, it'll say lesson 2, page 50 at the top. You'll need this page. You will need a pencil or a whiteboard marker, something to write with. Just 3 things today. So this poster in the packet, page 50 in the packet, and a pencil is all the materials you will be needing. So go ahead and please pause the video, go get those materials, and I'll see you shortly. All right, boys and girls, welcome back. I hope you're able to grab all your materials needed for this lesson. So this strategy, using the number line, is one strategy that I really enjoy using. It's a nice visual for me, and it helps me, it's easier for me to count that way. So I know that you're gonna catch on super fast. So, all right, let's begin. So the first example, I'm going to add 146 plus 132. And it's very important when we're using the number line strategy to always start with the biggest number. So I'm going to draw my number line. And I'm going to start with the biggest number. So we have 146 and 132. So the larger number is 146. So I'm going to start with that number on my number line. Then I'm going to look at the number I need to add. I need to add 132. So in order to do that, just how we did with the base 10 strategy, breaking the number up into hundreds, tens, and ones, we're going to do something similar here. So in 132, there is how many hundreds, boys and girls, in 132? 100. Excellent. So I'm going to make one jump of 100. I'm going to make one jump of 100. And it's very important to add on top of your jumps what you're doing. So I'm adding 100 to 146. So when I add 100 to 146, I get 246. So now what I need to do, my new number is 246. I need to add 3 tens or 30 to 246. So you can do it in one big jump to 30 if you'd like to challenge yourself, but I'm going to do it in 3 jumps of 10. So I'm going to do one jump of 10, 20, 30. And it's very important to write on top what you're doing. So I'm adding 10 on this jump, adding 10 on this jump, and adding 10 on this jump. And I'm also going to write each number underneath of the new number so I know exactly what number I'm at. So 246 plus 10 is 256. 256 plus 10 is 266. 266 plus 10 gives us 276. Now I need to add the last 2 ones. So I have 276. I'm going to do 2 small jumps of 1 each. 1, 2. So I'm adding plus 1, plus 1. Let me write this a little smaller. 276 plus 1 is 277. Plus 1 more gives us 278. So our final answer, 146 plus 132 equals 278. So I'm going to go ahead and erase my board. I'm going to do one more example. This number line strategy is very great to use, especially when adding big numbers. Let me try to close these blinds real quick. that help a little bit? Maybe a little bit. Okay. All right, the next example we're going to do is 133 plus 105. So I'm going to draw my number line. All right, so does anyone remember the rule? What number do we start with first when we're going to be using the number line strategy? Do we start with the larger number or do we start with the smaller number? Go ahead and say it out loud, boys and girls. Do we start with the larger number or the smaller number? Excellent, we always start with the larger number. It makes our adding much easier that way. So I'm starting with 133. I want to break apart this number 105. We have 100s, no 10s, and 5 ones. So I'm going to break it apart, jumping one jump of 100. So I'm adding 100, and I'm getting that from this number, from this 100. 133 plus 100 is 233. Now, I don't have any 10, so I'm not going to make any jumps of 10. I have 5 ones, though, so I'm going to make 5 small jumps of 1. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, it's very important to write on top what you're doing. So I'm adding 1 each time so I don't get confused. 233 plus 1 is 234. 234 plus 1 is 235. 235 plus 1 is 236. 236 plus 1 is 237. 237 plus 1 is 238. So our final answer, 133 plus 105 equals 238. 238. All right, we'll do one more example before it's your turn to practice. One more example. One more example before it's your turn to show Mrs. A and I what you know. All right, next example. We are going to our problem of 214 plus 155. Remember, I'm going to draw my number line. Draw my number line. Oops. This way. Sorry, boys and girls, my computer. Okay. Let me close these blinds real quick. This one. All right, boys and girls, so the last example we're going to do before you try this on your own is 214 plus 155. So we remember we always start with a larger number. Always, always, always with a larger number. So our larger number is 214. I'm going to draw my line, 214. I need to break apart 155. How many hundreds are in 155? Excellent. 1. How many tens are in 155? 5. Excellent. And how many ones, boys and girls? 5 ones. Excellent. So I'm going to make a jump of 100, one big jump of 100. Remember to always write on top what you're doing. So I'm adding 100. 214 plus 100 is 314. Now I need to add my jumps of 5 tens. So I'm adding 5 jumps of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm going to write on top what I'm doing so I don't get confused. I'm adding 10 each time. So 314 plus 10 is 324. 324 plus 10, 334. 334 plus 10 is 344. 344 plus 10 is 354. And 354 plus 10 is 364. So now I'm at 364. The last thing I need to do is go back and add my 5 ones. So I'm going to do 5 jumps of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, I'm running out of room. Extend my number line. So I'm adding 1 each time. Adding 1 each time. So 364 plus 1 is 365. Plus 1, 366. Plus 1, 367. Plus 1, 368. Plus 1, 369. And Mrs. Silva ran out of room. But as you can see, I added my 5 humps. So 214 plus 155 equals 369. 369. So boys and girls, what I want you to do now is I want you to, from your packet, you should have page 50. It'll say page 50 on the top. I want you to go ahead and try these 4 problems on your own. You can do it on this piece of paper if you want. If you do not have enough room, you can always do it on scratch paper. That is totally optional. That is totally fine. So go ahead and pause the video now. I want you to work through these 4 problems using our number line Niles strategy, and you can have this poster next to you if you would like for a visual reference. So go ahead and pause the video now, try those 4 problems, and I'll come back and check your answers with you. Good luck, boys and girls. All right, boys and girls, I hope you were able to work through those problems. Where I'm going to go ahead and review the answers with you real quick. So the first one on your sheet was 189 plus 103. Draw my number line. We always start with the larger number, so 189. I'm going to add or do 1 jump of 100. We don't have any 10s here to add, so we just have 3 ones. So this is 289 and then 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. Plus 1, so we know what we're doing. 289 plus 1 is 290. 290 plus 1 is 291. 291 plus 1 is 292. So the first one, your answer for 189 plus 103 should be 292. 292. All right, the second, there we go, it's better. All right, the second problem, boys and girls, you had was 187 plus 135. 187 plus 135. I'll draw my number line up here. Just do this to help separate the problem. Okay, 187 plus 135. We always start with the larger number. So 187, I'm going to do 1 jump of 100 because we just have 100. Always important to write what you're doing. Plus 100. 187 plus 100 is 287. I now need to look at my tens place. I have 3 tens, so I'm going to do 3 jumps of 10. 1, 2, 3. Plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. 287 plus 10 is 297. 297 plus 10 is 307. And 307 plus 10 is 317. Now I simply need to add my ones. I have 5 ones. You can either do 1 jump of 5 or 5 jumps of 1. For this purpose, I'm going to do 5 jumps of 1, but whatever you prefer is what you may do. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So 317 plus 1 is 318. 318 plus 1, 319. 319 plus 1 is 320. 320 plus 1 is 321. 321 plus 1 is 322. So your answer of 187 plus 135 should equal 322. So number 2, you should have got 322. All right, I'm going to go ahead and erase number 1 and 2, and I will do numbers 3 and 4. All right, number 3, we have 342 plus 137. I'm going to draw my number line for you. We always start with a larger number, 342. I have 100 to add, so I'm going to do one big jump of 100 plus 100. 342 plus 100 is 442. I now have 3 tens, which equals 30, so I'm going to do 3 jumps of 10. 1, 2, 3, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. 442 plus 10 is 452. 452 plus 10 is 462. 462 plus 10 is 472. 472. Now I have 7 ones left. So you can either choose to do 7 jumps of 1, or you could break the 7 up into 5 and 2. I'm going to break it up into 5 and 2 because it has less jumps. So I'm going to do 1 jump of 5. So 472 plus 5 is 477. And I have 2 left over, so I'm going to do 2 jumps of 1. 1, 2. Plus 1, plus 1. 477 plus 1, I'm going to write it a little smaller, is 478. 478 plus 1 is 479. So your answer for 342 plus 137 is 479. 479. And like I said, boys and girls, you could have done 7 jumps of 1 if you didn't want to break the 7 apart into 5 and 2. Whatever is easier for you is totally acceptable. Whichever way is fine. All right, boys and girls, the last one is 262 plus 126. I know you guys already all know this, but I just got to say it again. We always start with the larger number. Excellent, 262. I'm going to do one big jump of 100. 262 plus 100 is 362. I'm going to do 2 jumps of 10. 1, 2, plus 10, plus 10. That gives us our 2 tens. 362 plus 10 is 372. 372 plus 10 is 382. Now, I just have 6 ones left. And like the previous problem, I can break the 6 down into 5 and 1, or I can just add 6 ones. So I will just, for this purpose, add 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So 382 plus 1 is 383. Plus 1 is 384. Plus 1 is 385. Plus 1 is 386. Plus 1 is 387. Oops, running out of room. 387. Plus 1 more is 388. So your answer for this problem, 262 plus 126, is 388. All right, boys and girls, I hope you all enjoyed this strategy of number line Niles. I know I did. And on the next Zoom meeting, I'm going to ask which method or which strategy you prefer so far. Do you prefer to use base 10 Betsy, Or do you prefer to use number line Niles? I want you to think about what strategy you prefer to use when adding 3-digit numbers. I'm going to ask you on our Zoom meeting later today. All right, boys and girls, have a great rest of your afternoon.